It is I, the Concrete Catwalk. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm a reseller who has a closet on Poshmark. I will leave the details of that towards the end of this video. Those of you who are returning, my catwalkers, welcome back. Today's is going to be about something that bothers me. We're going to talk about lowballers. Those folks who, when they see your listing, they make, and I'm not cutting corners, they make the most ridiculous offer on something. When you get it, you're like, what? What did they just offer? You're out there and you're doing listings and you're putting things up, an objective that we all have in mind. And the objective is you're putting things out there because you want to get at least something that is close to or reasonable for the price of the item, whatever that may be. Somebody who is a lowballer and send an unrealistic offer to me, that says a couple things. Now, I'm gonna say this is my channel, and with my channel, I think about things that are of interest to me. And any advice that I share is simply just that. You can take it or you can leave. Let's talk about those people who send unrealistic offers and you're sitting there like, no, that did not just happen. So, I list an item, and let's say I put that item up for $150. Some person comes back and they say, oh, I'll give you $45 for it. $45 for what? I don't see that. I'll be very blunt. When a person makes a low ball offer, you're wasting someone's time. And you don't see the value in the item. You're looking at it as if, oh, okay, well, since I'm out here, maybe I'll just throw this out to the universe and this person will come back and be like, oh, sure, yeah, I will let you have this for $45. I think not. Someone has invested the time, energy, and effort to go and source for items, and especially if the items are in very good to brand new condition, how dare you come back and throw out something, an offer that makes no logical sense. And I'm not saying it's just to bash at buyers. I'm not saying that. I'm talking to myself too, because I think we've all been on that side of the fence where you see something and you really, really like it and you hope and you wish and you think. The thing about it is we can all think it, but to actually go ahead and to make that offer and send it over to the person is, to me, it's unrealistic, and it is just a smack in the face to the time and the effort put in to go through this whole process of finding it, listing it, and then whatever else goes along with having to ship the item. Usually, when a person sends a lowball offer, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this, and yeah, I'm gonna say it happens a lot on the platform that I usually in the beginning. It just makes me very upset. I have to learn to change my reaction to when a lowball offer comes to me. How do I do this? It's actually going back behind the reason why the person has made the offer in the first place. They don't appreciate the value of the item that I'm selling or that somebody is selling. Also looking through maybe other resale sites, and they're trying to do comparisons, or they're trying to see if maybe perhaps if this particular platform is too high, maybe I have a better bet of making a lowball offer and getting something that I really, really want for a cheaper price. It could be 1,001 renditions of how. My reaction when I get one of those is, it's one of crickets. I sit there and I look at it, and I will not entertain the offer, because the individual is saying to me, all right, well, I think I can get something for nothing, so why not? And then how do I deal with somebody who lowball offer? My choices are, I choose not to deal with it. If it's an offer that is low offer, but it's on the high side, I may consider it. I may look at it, and I probably would counter offer back. No ground where the person can come back and say, all right, let me consider this. I think it's reasonable, and go there. I mean, that's how we would hope that would end up. There's a reasonable dialogue of getting to the point where the price is agreeable to both parties. That's what we would hope for. When people look at resale platforms, I think that sometimes they equate it to the fact of Hamel Mart. This is like going to an open air flea market or going to a garage sale, and they can just say, well, you can take it or leave it. Okay, well, yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave it. Lowball offers are not worth considering unless it is something that I know that I can work with. What happens is if you get somebody who makes a lowball offer and you end up going back and forth, well, you could potentially end up going back and forth with the person, and then you're dealing with somebody who, at worst case scenario, getting to be beyond overboard but insistent, and they're trying to force your hand to see if you'd be willing to sell your item at the lowball price because they're testing, they're pushing. I'm not going to entertain it. If it doesn't come close to the threshold that I'm looking for, that I would consider reason someone is in the position of making a lowball offer, what I notice, because I'll go behind the scenes and I'll take a look, is usually it's folks who don't have a lot of activity on the back end, meaning they're not selling, they're specifically interested in looking for items. I will not do a transaction that way. If I see that there is not a lot of activity on that side of the fence, I will not deal with the transaction. That's just my perspective. With lowball offers that come in, I always err on the side of my peace of mind. I'm putting my business first. I don't want to discredit sourcing time, the listing time, the search time that it took, the travel time that it took. I'm not going to discredit that. I'm not going to put myself in a position where letting someone have something at a lower price, especially when the item is commanding what it's worth. So, listening audience, in order to effectively deal with lowballers, there's a couple things you can do. And number one, know how to interact with a person who's made a lowball request. You can say no thoughtfully and nicely. Diffuse that back and forth that can happen, especially with someone who's really eager because they really want the item and they want that item at a lower price. It's better to be thoughtful and say no, and when you say no, mean no. The other thing that I find too that come in that are low, I actually have learned to take my emotional side, being hit with a lowball offer, out of it. I take my emotions out of it and realize that that's the cost of doing business. When someone comes in with an offer like that, it's best not for me to get upset about it. It's best to just say, nope, I'm not going to consider the offer. The item is in this type of condition. You see the tags attached, and so I'm looking for offers that are closer to the listing price. And leave it at that and move on. It makes it a lot easier for everyone, and you're not sitting there spinning your wheels, having a conversation that usually 9 times out of 10 ends up with no sale. Also, put a human aspect behind the saying no part to a person who's made a lowball offer. It takes out of the equation being angry at the person or putting that person in a negative light. It's better to just humanize it and just politely say to them, and I hope you find what you're looking for in your future searches. A lot of resellers who are in this business of selling on platforms, it is a constant challenge trying to deal with persons who make offers that are not in relation to the price of the particular item or items. If you're not careful, those types of offers can make you very targeted in terms of you're always looking and on the defense of whatever lowball offers come in. So let me just say that to say this. In my closet, I used to put like a listing up that said, oh no, lowball offer, and I choose not to do that anymore because I know that I have more control If those type of offers come in and I know that I don't want to entertain them, don't entertain them. And the price that you're looking for when you don't get into all that back and forth, because as you know, under your listings, especially if you are on, a platform such as Poshmark, leave comments, and people do leave comments. Sometimes people say, well, I've seen this for $15 and you've got it listed for $35. Okay, we'll go buy it for $15. We'll go do that. If it's not to my liking, I simply decline it and we move on. Look at what the objective is of your business. If you're in this business just to move items, $5, $10, $15, great. But just remember this, you might be in that mindset, but if you list something for $30 and then someone comes back and says $5, it's frustrating. The fees on the site are 20% of the sale. Well, if it's of a certain threshold, it is. I don't think anyone wants to go through all the time and effort of doing a listing and then at the end of all of the transaction, you're coming away with less than $10. I choose to deal with lowball offers is it's either yes or no. And if no, I'm gonna say no to the person and I'm gonna move on. Be kind and wish them well with wherever they're going to be going and looking in the future to find the same item. The biggest thing is to not hide behind lowball offers, to not use that as a reason to fire off into the stratosphere and be like, I don't want to, I'm not going to consider it. No, don't do that. You're caught up in the offer in and of itself, then you're fixated too much on, am I going to lose a sale? To me, it doesn't matter if I lose the sale. What matters more to me is being able to negotiate a fair offer, being able to comfortably sell something that I feel is in line with what I am willing to part with the item based upon the agreed upon price. That's my goal. Lowball offers sometimes demonstrate too that you have to change your pricing of things. Meaning, I'm not saying cut corners and go low. I'm saying if you're going to price it based upon the fact that you think it's worth $150 or $200 or $50, stick to that. When someone says no, there's always a person who sees the item and they understand the value of the item and they're willing to move forward and complete the transaction. For those of you who are struggling with low ballers, you have to come to a resolution that person makes that offer, it's not about them. It's about you being able to make a decision whether you want to deal with the transaction or not. For me, it's easier to say no and move on. Or if it's something that might get closer to being in line with what I'm willing to accept for it, deal with it. You are the person that ultimately controls what's going to happen with the sale of an item, not the lowballer. Let me know what your thoughts and comments are below. What do you do? What are your strategies? How do you handle lowballers? Do they make you irate? Do you go in another direction and just are like, oh my God, I can't stand this, I can't? Or are you more like myself, where you recognize and you say, yeah, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. Good luck in your search. That is all that I have for this week. Do me these 3 things. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Tap that bell for notifications. I post videos every Sunday. If you do not want to miss them, please subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel. Let me know your thoughts. What would you like to see more? What are some topics that you would like for me to discuss? Good or bad, let me know how you feel. Also, if you are on Instagram, you can follow me there. I am the Catwalks Concrete on Instagram. And if there is something there that you see in my closet, because I do list things I sell in my Poshmark closet over on Instagram, DM me and together we can work it out so that you can get it before somebody else does. Also, my Poshmark closet, you want to go over there and check that out. I am Concrete Catwalk on Poshmark. So, with that, thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week.